Spectator Sport. Thank you for joining Spectator Sport. It's your boy Ronnie Lott, the sports jock. Like I always like to say, we got talent in the building. I got more than talent. I got a lot of extra talent in the building. Got my boy Tune in the building. Say something, man. Say something, man.
What's up, people? What's up?
We got double A-Ron in the building today, folks. So you can finally hear this dude live. I know y'all thought it was a little chipmunk. The voice wasn't right. You know, our audio wasn't no good. Double A-Ron, tell them who you are, man.
Hey, man, chipmunk, I am not, okay? Let's go, man. Let's talk round 3.
Talent, say something, man. Say something.
You know, talent in the building, a.k.a. shot of 117 on the golf course yesterday.
Now you at 117. Hey, he's BSing first.
Hey, shut up,
this is not verifiable.
I'm 10 strokes below the amateur average. I'm 10 strokes below
Folks.
that. I'm going to be in the 90s soon. I'll be a bogey golfer pretty soon.
Who's keeping score?
What do you mean? I keep score.
Okay, folks, the information just said cannot be verified.
I have a partner that he has to sign off from the car. What you talking about?
I got to meet your partner before I can verify it.
I mean, because you're not a golfer.
To me, you're a 140 golfer. So
I'm not a
anything,
140 golfer. Nowhere close to that.
Hit the golf, man. I gotta see the car.
You gotta watch
I had the car at the house. I wish I could have
Let me
brought
see
it.
the
Man.
car.
I definitely
You
gotta
have to sign
see
with
the
the
car.
car. Listen to me. If you play golf with people and they're serious golfers, no one's gonna let you take no extra shots or take strokes off for you. It's serious because you want to win. So I won 17 yesterday, and I think I'll be a bogey golfer in about 2 weeks.
All right, folks, give or take 3 years. Give or take 3 years.
Now I told you I'd be a scratch golfer by the age of 35, so I need to be a bogey golfer probably soon because being a scratch golfer is not easy.
Folks, Spectator Sport does not condone someone being happy to be a loser, a bogey golfer. If you're a bogey golfer, that means you're not winning. We care about winning.
Oh, when you're playing against other
amateurs,
amateurs, you are winning. So, like I said, you have to know about golf, people, before you can make those statements.
let's go ahead and talk about the Olympics. The Olympics is finally here. Every 4 years, every nation comes together and brings a bunch of athletes. Well, you know, the U.S. usually brings the best athletes in the world, but the Olympics is here. The opening ceremony, my personal opinion, it doesn't even should be on the same planet as the Beijing Olympics. Guys, say this, man. The Chinese, they know what they're doing. But I don't know what the hell the cats in London was doing. They say they got the dude from Slumdog Millionaire. Well, he's a slumdog because he did a terrible job with that. What do y'all think about that, man? Go ahead, go ahead, Double A. What you thought about that one, man?
Well, you gotta look. It's a little bit different. I mean, in Beijing, it was more of a show. You know, the drums with the lighting and the coordination, everything like that. But this opening ceremony, it told a story. You know, it went from the music part of it and all the actors that were involved in having, as you said, Danny Boyle is his name, the director of Slumdog Millionaire, actually having him direct it and tell a story and $42 million. $42 million to tell a story about the country that is hosting, not just play a show. I actually liked it.
To me, they just burnt $40 million. That dude should be hung because he did a terrible job. You told a terrible story. A guy and a girl chasing each other. They doing a dance. Some kids on the bed. I'll tell you this. There were 2 million Chinese in that show, and everybody was in sequence. I'm still trying to find the footage.
$42 million, and the main thing that stand out to me is Mr. Bean and the Queen not having any personality.
I cannot believe they would spend $42 million on an opening of Olympics. That's like a waste of freaking money. I understand. I didn't watch it. I don't watch that nonsense. It's nonsense to me. I guess I'm not American, whatever. I am an American, though. But
ooh, the talent that claims to not be American. So what are you? You African?
No, because people will say you're not American. Listen to me, Genius. People will say you're not American because you didn't watch the opening of the Olympics. No, because I think that's a joke to spend $42 million.
You didn't want to salute your country?
I just want to see my country play basketball, and that's about it. I mean, to be honest with you.
Hey, I got a question. What happens when you're the first country's name called and you go in the little circle and then you line up? Do they have to stand the whole time?
Absolutely.
So all of the countries are called?
Absolutely.
Imagine being that first country called and you got to stand all the way to the very end.
Well, they go in alphabetical order, I think, so.
I would just sit down.
I'd hate to be like Argentina or something.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. But I say this, man. Speaking of blunders that happened during the opening ceremony, what was up with with England trying North Korea, man, them not displaying the North Korea flag, coming out with the South Korea flag, that's foul, man. I don't care if it was a mistake, a blunder. Let me tell you, you spent $42 million, and you're the director of Slumdog Millionaire. I know you know how to edit, so I'm telling you this. That's a political statement. That's a political statement. So I know it's people.
Here we go.
What do you think about it?
Go ahead, a damn political statement. It was an honest mistake. Get out of here. Korea's Korea. I mean, get the hell out of here, man. You're freaking sitting over here talking about.
It's not Korea. That's North
strategy to do what? For them to kill each other? They're already doing that probably.
Kim
So
Jong-un
it doesn't matter.
Korea's Korea.
No.
I am going to tell Korea. Korea is Korea. Korea. It's like the United States being the United States.
Well, the part that you're talking about actually happened a day or two before the opening ceremony. It was at a women's soccer game.
Oh, okay.
And South Korea, actually, the North Korean team was being introduced in the game, and they put up South Korea's flag. And it actually, the coach and the team actually refused to go out on the field for an hour. You know, and it's more so an embarrassment. And just what you were talking about with the opening ceremonies not being, as you say, up to par, you know, just making that mistake. It's just, a lot of money went into it. Not just the opening ceremony, but you're paying the people to man those boards and do all that. And to make a mistake like that, especially in that situation where the countries are technically still at war, it's just a big embarrassment.
I say this: you just send those people to North Korea and let them answer.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, no.
You'd be
It would
surprised.
make it bad.
You'd be surprised the repercussions that can come from something like that.
I
Just
say
a simple
this.
mix-up.
The queen looked like she don't play, man. I don't think she smiled the whole opening ceremony. She was there for like 3 hours straight. After she came out of the helicopter, I don't think she smiled the whole time. I don't think I seen the stunt double. I seen the queen. Her dress ain't moved. That thing was so properly pressed. Queen, I ain't say nothing, baby. You the most tweeted about person, I ain't say nothing.
I think all that royalty stuff is a joke anyway.
Whoa! The views expressed by the talent are not the views of spectator sport.
The truth. All humans feel that queen nonsense is a joke. No one needs to be bowing down and kissing her hand and doing all that BS.
No, please, Queen, we did not say anything negative about you. The Queen looked lovely. The dress was beautiful.
This is not the 1800s. No one cares about the Queen.
The monarchy runs this place. What are you talking about?
It's
all about the monarchy.
It's more of like a class. You know?
I say Queen Latifah over Queen.
Yeah, exactly.
You say Queen Latifah over the monarchy?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Get out of here with that nonsense.
This lady runs half the world.
Set it off.
Bottom line, they announced Great Britain's name as the last during the opening ceremonies, and she didn't even hand clap. There was just 0 person.
She don't need to clap. She the queen. Everybody clap. She don't clap.
You clap
She's the
for
queen.
her.
You clap for her. What the queen look like clapping? Are you kidding me? The queen doesn't clap. This is spectator sport. Clap for us.
Hey, did you clap when Team USA was announced?
Oh, hell nah. Clap with team. Come on, man. You said a professional athlete. I don't clap if you're gonna send the dream team to go play against a bunch of amateur and 1 or 2 NBA players. I ain't clapping for that. The dream team, I tell you this, LeBron, Kobe, all of y'all out here want to act like y'all got it. You're supposed to win. It's goal or bust. Goal or bust.
Oh, you just called them the dream team.
Goal or bust.
You just called them the dream team. So you saying they could beat the dream team? Is that what you're saying?
I like we said before, you know what? LeBron James to me is probably, if you put both teams on the court, LeBron James the best player on the court, bar none. I don't care what a 6'6" shooting guard got to say about it. I'm 6'9", 270.
Disrespect.
And I can do whatever I want to do in the court.
Stop
so
your
Jordan
disrespect.
or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Stop your disrespect. First of all, don't you ever say LeBron James is the best player in the court.
6'6" shooting guard, and everybody cheated for
that
him.
has 6 championship rings and 6 MVPs. Is on the floor. You come holler at me when LeBron gets that.
Sure.
Not to say LeBron
Jordan had a better
not
career.
a great player.
Yes, but that doesn't mean he's a better player.
Don't you say that he's the best player on the court because it's not a true statement. He's the second best
Double
player
A
on the
around.
court.
Who you think the best player on that team if both dream teams played?
I'll be honest with you, from the players I've seen in my life and seeing Jordan, what he did, even with the team, with Scottie Pippen and, established shooters and great coaching, best coach ever. There was no player better than Michael Jordan. There's absolutely.
What do you think?
I think,
Go ahead, Tyler.
and just to say one thing, that whole best coach, I think that's a little. I don't think no one really coaches in the NBA besides Greg Popovich.
10 championships. I mean, it's
I
hard
mean,
to- it's hard
right.
to say.
Let me ask you a question.
Man,
Let me ask you a
big chair
question.
coaches. You
Name
can't
his
tell me
players.
Phillip don't
Name
coach.
his players when he won championships. Name his players when he won
Kobe, Jordan,
championships.
Shaq.
Exactly.
The big chair.
Exactly.
It's not his fault he's
Listen to
smart
me.
to get with
Listen to
great
me.
players.
Like
There's
I
only
said,
5 players on the
he
court.
only
So your
goes
impact
to
is gonna be a
teams
lot
where he
greater.
knows he has a great chance to win with great players. It's not like he took some average team and had him go win a championship.
Would you
That's
call-
not what he does.
Would you call Pat Riley a great coach?
I definitely would call Pat Riley a great coach because let me tell you this: his style of play. I'll tell you also, there's other coaches out here that I say coaches. You can't tell me Doc Rivers ain't coaching in timeout. I know Eric Spoelstra ain't coaching in no timeouts. But I'll tell you this: I bet you Doc
I
Rivers
don't think
is.
they coach. I think they run a play, and then after that one play's run from the timeout, and then they go off.
Yeah,
and
they
and
just
go
go
back
off
to the
and they play.
basic,
Yeah.
same standard offense that they run throughout the whole game. You just gotta have good players. That's what it boils down to. And like I said, LeBron. I like he's talented, but just don't disrespect MJ.
Hey
like
man,
that.
let me
He's
tell
very
you this, man. I'm so tired of people with this whole you can't say this or that about LeBron
This
James.
man
You can't say that
prevented
against
Hall
Michael
of Fame
Jordan.
players
Michael Jordan
from
is
getting
not taboo.
championship. Listen
Michael
to me.
Jordan, I'm tired of the
Listen to me.
propaganda that the media
When
has set
a
out to put
player
Michael Jordan.
prevents another Hall of Famer from getting NBA titles, and he's the main reason. There's nothing else to say. LeBron hasn't done that to anybody. Michael has.
Well, he's in the process of doing it.
Yeah,
Melo ain't
okay.
getting no rings anytime soon. And Melo probably gonna be a Hall of Famer, even though Aaron doesn't feel. Now let me tell you this: this has got to be the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. This dude say he'll take Bird over Melo. What do you think about that, Toon?
No,
Who said?
I can't. To me, Melo is just one of the best offensive players in the NBA, man. It's
He
hard
said
for me
you
to take his aggression over Larry Bird.
Well, you got to remember. I mean, I'm not talking because during the actual Dream Team time, Larry Bird was past his prime.
Yeah, he was.
No, I mean,
He
a
was
Bird
on-
in his
but
prime.
in his
Heavy
prime,
on that.
Even a
with
Bird,
the
a prime
defense,
Bird.
Bird was always good at defense. He would get the blocks, he'd get the steals. He played that tough defense. You weren't gonna push him around. You got to admit, Carmelo's defense can be lax on
Definitely.
certain
I
occasions.
mean, I'll take Bird's defense over Melo's defense. I mean, Bird's shot was
So
ridiculous.
then the difference between the two you're looking at is what? 6 points, 8 points. You know, I like. Larry
I think
Bird. like
Bird.
Larry
I
Bird.
think Bird's defense is a little overrated. He was surrounded by
Exactly.
tough defensive players.
You
Bird-
got the
Bird to
chief.
me was
You
never
got
really that.
you went from Russell to the
The
chief.
team he was on promoted that rough defense, just like the Pistons.
But you
That
can't play like that no
hard
more. The
defense.
NBA don't allow you playing. So if you put Bird in today's era, I don't think he could. His athleticism wise, he couldn't play with a lot of these guys. You got guys like Rudy Gay who probably be dunking all over Bird because of the athleticism that these guys have. I mean, it's a different NBA game. Ain't so much checking, and you're not allowed to do as much of things. You're not allowed to be as physical. That's why a guy like a Kevin Durant that's like paper thin is able to flourish because really you can't really check nobody or really get too physical. That's why you see Kendrick Perkins looking so upset. He's like, man, I can't do nothing.
That dude always. looks
I
upset.
can't take Carmelo over Bird because I was told that I put Bird in my top 5, so obviously I can't do that. But maybe at the end of Carmelo's career, I might be able to take Carmelo over Bird. But as of right now, no, I'll go with Bird over Carmelo.
Well, the USA team did actually win their first game against Tony Parker and the France team. I think he scored like 98 to 71 or something. They won by like 20. They won by like 27,
It was a tough
28.
game, though. It was a
I mean,
tough
it's a tough game. They
early.
played tough. I mean, it's definitely a good game. They won. They did what they're supposed to do. Still, you should have beat them by like 40. That's why.
You don't have to beat them by 40 though. Like they were saying, like LeBron and everyone said, it doesn't matter. You don't get 2 wins if you beat a team by 40 points. If you beat them by 1 point or 2 points, it's a win. It doesn't really matter.
Well, you got to remember, Tony Parker still is not 100% from his eye injury he sustained with the Chris
Thank
Brown
you,
injury.
Drake and Chris Brown, throwing your retarded drinks in the club. Now you got Tony Parker could barely play. He did file suit. Hopefully he get his money in that suit.
He ain't getting no dang money. Them club promoters not getting that.
What the hell is Tony Parker doing anyway? Clubbing.
Tony Parker in the club with
Y'all
y'all.
like good friends or something like that.
What
No, you gotta think about it. Tony Parker's a young guy. He's only 28, 29 years
Definitely,
old.
definitely.
What did did they need a French interpreter?
They love his French. They love the French accent.
And you know, Tony Parker probably bring around more exotic
You know, Tony
women,
would have some exotic around. But speaking of exotic and things that really struck me as extremely odd. So apparently there's a Malaysian shooter, and I don't know why shooting's an Olympic event and not American football. Makes no sense to me, but I'm just saying. Let's go back to the shooting, because you know that's what we do in America. Oh, sorry, Lolo, that's what you tweeted, not me. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So there's a pregnant Malaysian chick that's 8 months pregnant, and she's supposed to be in this shooting event. I don't agree with it, folks. I just don't agree with it.
Let me go back to your Lolo comments. To be honest, that wasn't that. Those comments weren't bad at all.
Lolo, man, tighten up.
You gotta understand when these people were coming up, you know, back in the 70s and the 60s, especially being from the South, and all those people like that, they carry rifles.
29.
But what I'm just saying though, just from the tradition of Americans, they love guns, the rifles, the hunting, and all this stuff that Americans do. This is what she's referring to. I don't think she's referring to people going out there and blasting people in movie theaters and shooting up schools. It's just like Americans always they love to hunt and they love their guns. So that's what she was referring to.
The timing of it. I don't like the timing of it.
It might be bad, but it's the truth.
There's a time and a place to make a joke. I mean, right now, you had that Greek. I don't know if she was a triple jump.
She's she's one of the Greek Olympians that was held off the team.
And she was booted off the team for tweeting a joke about an African who was there. And it's just like I said, the timing of it. You know, you can't.
She was saying that there was. Excuse me, I apologize. She actually said there were so many mosquitoes in England, so much Africans in England that the mosquitoes gonna have home cooking. Which was really, really racist, by the way, young lady. You are terrible. I hope you look in the mirror and slap yourself, because you're a piece of crap. How could you say something like that? You know, there's kids in Africa dying from malaria every day, and you make an insensitive joke like that? You're a piece of crap.
Yeah, I'm with Talon on this one. I mean, I think it was blown up out of proportion, but I'm also with Double A-Ron, because I think it was just bad timing. Because to me, archery and shooting, it goes hand in hand. It's those type of competitions. So what she was saying is we lost to Italy when it came to the archery, but when is the shooting competition? Pretty much we're going to excel at that. So I think it was a mix-up of it being blown out of proportion, but also bad timing.
She could have... Yeah. Well, I mean, she could have said the basketball team, because that's pretty much a guarantee. But, I mean, the shooting, like I said, the timing... I don't know. It seems a little bit off to me. I think it was a bad choice of words.
Speaking of things getting blown out of proportion, coming into this Olympics, the biggest storyline coming in has to be Ryan Lochte, Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps winning 8 golds in Beijing, not losing any event that he was in. It's supposed to be the biggest rivalry coming in. And first race, Michael Phelps get waxed. What y'all think about that?
I think Michael Phelps, I don't even think he cares about racing no more, to be honest with you. It's just like, when you hear him in the interviews, he just sounds like he's so burnt out. It's just like I'm sick of looking at the bottom of the swimming pool. I don't want to go swim with my friends. I hate the water. It's like he's so burnt out mentally about swimming. I think he just...
And his mom was trying to push him to go to the next Olympics.
Yeah, he said he's done after this year.
But you got to remember, that comes with the territory. Not only did he become, or win the most medals ever at an Olympics for, an individual, he also became a celebrity. I mean, overnight he became a celebrity with all the coverage and with the endorsements and even him having a nightlife and the people he was connected with and everything, and being followed by paparazzi. And being followed by, paparazzi and all that. It changes you and it can burn you out. And I just think, there's a better swimmer now. Someone who wants it more.
And that's true. There's a guy who wants it more. He doesn't want it like he won in the last Olympics and back in 08. That's what it boils down to.
Anybody who's an athlete out there can attest to, when you're so good at something, it tends to get boring for you. Whether you retire early before you're supposed to. And what happened is he just went crazy at the last Olympics, won all of these medals, and he lost his hunger. Whether it's, wanting to be a regular person, whether he's getting caught for smoking marijuana, or now even recently, they made a big deal about his picture for the Olympics, for his ID, because he wasn't shaved and he had hair all over his face and he looked like he just woke up. He just not hungry like he used to. He just doesn't want it like that. He's still gonna win. I still think he's gonna win a couple gold medals. But he's just not as hungry as he was. And you can't blame him when you show up at the Olympics and you pretty much run through the competition and there's nobody close to you. I could see him getting bored with it.
I'll say this also. He did stop training for a while, so they were saying also leading up to the Olympics, the training time that he was actually putting in, it was going to be a different effect. So what he was doing, he's trying to build up to the Olympics, but with the time off that he took away from the sport, being burned out, you actually see the effects. I mean, he came in fourth in the 400 medley. I mean, it was him and Lott. They was there, but it's like, you know what? You could see, to me, the thing that always stood out with Phelps was his lungs. You could tell that he just had more. He looked like a fish in the water. He was so aerodynamic, and you could tell his lungs, his back, everything was so big. So to me, it just seemed like his lungs is just him not training as he did before. He's not getting it in.
Well, look at the two main athletes that stood out, at least to me, from the Olympics last year. It was Usain Bolt and it was Michael Phelps. And you even look at Usain Bolt now. The competition is closing in on him and beating him. Absolutely. You know, he's getting beat by his teammate. So what happens is when you excel so much, you get bored with it and you take a step back and you get comfortable. And what you're seeing from Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt is that they're getting comfortable. And you got a whole bunch of hungry people behind you that want to take your spot.
Folks, you're tuning in to Spectator Sports. Your boy Ronnie Lott, the Sports Jock. I got the fam in the building. Let me tell you where to find us. Check us on Twitter at Spectator Sport, the #1. Check us on YouTube, youtube.com/Spectator Sport, /FUK Jobs, /Holland Jungle. You know where to find us. Thank you to folks at Holland Jungle for making this possible. Like I say, look out for that new Chick Layano and Tones project. I'm telling you, this thing is going to be major. These kids, I'm telling you, these guys are coming heavy. These dudes are going to change the way the game is perceived. So I look forward to a major project by these dudes. So let's go ahead and go on to the next topic. Like I say, Spectator Sports, your boy Ronnie Lott, the Sports Jock. If you want to see me, you want to get with me, check me on Twitter.
Shots. Yeah, so, it's a half a shot glass.
So, folks, we going shots halfway through the show. This is what we do.
It's half a glass, kid.
Come on, man, take the shot, man. You just drink the liquor, man.
It's delicious.
Half a shot.
I was just handed the shot, so I'm not responsible for anything else I say.
Hey, come on. No, don't do this. Because this is the same guy who told me I shouldn't be taking shots in last week's show when we were talking about drinking and driving.
Man, it's yak, dog. Just drink that shit. Ain't make no difference, kid. I ain't gonna kill you.
It's Mama Juana.
Oh, shit. I hate brown liquor, dude.
Just drink it, bro. It's Spectator Sport. We taking this drink halfway to the shot. Salute to all the Olympians.
I've been drinking since I got here.
There you go. All right.
Salute to all the Olympians.
Ain't nothing to Leo.
Let's go ahead and I want to give a big congratulations to all the Leos out here. You know, Leos, we run this. And if you into the whole astronomy or astrology, whatever anatomy it is, basically Leos are leaders and everybody else follow. So keep following us at Spectator Sport. Let's keep it moving. Now let's talk about insensitive comments and things that, like, you know what, that came over kind of roughly. I know some people got some varying views on this, but I say this to Mr. Billionaire from Chick-fil-A. We don't want to hear what you got to say. They only want to eat your chicken. So if you don't like the gays getting married, the gays don't come there to find out how you feel about them. They're only there for your chicken, fool. Feed the chicken and stop talking about gay marriage because the gays don't want to hear it. What do you got to say about it, Talon?
You a fool because I feel like this whole gay thing is just ridiculous now. I don't think that someone should be not granted permits because he came out and spoke about gay marriage, gays getting married is ruining the sanctity of marriage. This is how he feels. He didn't say, hey, gays, you can't eat in my restaurant.
You might
as
well
say that. No, he didn't say that. He said, I just feel like it's just not right to him, so I don't think it should be a big deal. These people are having too much power and too much influence over politicians. It's just getting too ridiculous. And I hate when people say, well, what if it was black and white thing? No, that ain't got shit to do.
Whoa, Talent!
That had nothing to do.
He took the shot. He took the shot.
That has nothing to do with two people of the same sex getting married. Racial, no one chooses to be the color that they are.
The bottom line with me is that, once again, it's something that's blown completely out of proportion. Chick-fil-A is ran by, they're Christian-based. So why does it catch you by surprise that they are against same-sex marriage?
He shuts down his restaurants on Sundays and losing millions and millions of dollars doing it. So you think he cares that you're not granting him permits? Get out of here. This man does not care. This is what he believes. I don't think he should be condemned for it.
Yeah.
What do you say about that, Double A?
It's his business. I mean, if people can come out, for gay marriage, why are the people who are coming out against it being looked at in a different light? I
Exactly.
mean, it's his business. He can say basically whatever he wants when it comes to it.
Look, bottom line, I don't know if y'all have ate Chick-fil-A before, or the people out there listening have ate Chick-fil-A before. But speaking for myself, Chick-fil-A can pretty much say that they don't like black, light-skinned people with tattoos that have a baby girl recently born that lives in the state of Florida. I'm still going to eat Chick-fil-A chicken. Yeah. They can say whatever they want to say. Have you guys had that chicken before?
I love Chick-fil-A.
I tell you this, I'm a vegetarian.
In a while because I've been in the gym lately, but I do love Chick-fil-A. And I love the comments that he made, I think it was fine. This is what he feels. And if you don't like it, don't eat his food. But I still think it's ridiculous that they're not granting him permits to build Chick-fil-A's in Boston and Chicago because he made those statements. That's just ridiculous. That shows that these people have too much power and too much influence.
Folks, it's spectator sport. It's just we spectating on things. I'm a vegetarian myself. I can't condone anybody eating that filth that is chicken. But I tell you this, I do remember that Chick-fil-A, boy. I used to take the bus to the mall to go get some Chick-fil-A. So, dude, I still don't like your comments. Gays, you welcome to do whatever you feel because everybody got to pay for their own reactions and their own whatever they do with their life. I think everybody got a right to do whatever they want to do with their life. If you want to be a gay, it's cool.
He didn't say that's the thing, but he didn't even say, well, you shouldn't be gay. He just said he doesn't believe that they should get married. So he's not saying you can't eat my food and I don't think you should be gay. He didn't say that.
Yeah, they took a personal opinion and applied it to his business.
Well, that's what they do. The spin doctors, that's how we get down. Spin doctors do. That's what the media is all about. Speaking of things that is real crazy, the Sandusky, I know talent hates to speak about it, but it's coming out. It's out there. We got to speak about it. I hear McQuarrie's testimony coming out. And you know what? I thought testimonies that were given in court were sealed. Why is it coming out? Or the transcripts coming out? But it did come out that McQuarrie says, folks, if you're squeamish, please just run away from the radio right now because this is what's going to happen. McQuarrie says, in quotation marks, I heard skin-on-skin contact in the bathroom between Sandusky and the kid. So he said he's seen anal sex happening. And then on top of it, his wife has the audacity to say that Sandusky is not the guy they're making him out to be. So what? It was somebody else in the shower with the boys? Go ahead, Tyler.
It comes back to one thing with me with all this disgusting what this man did. And I still got to go back to Joe Paul's statue being taken down and the winds being vacated. People are letting this McQuarrie character just get away.
Don't blame McQuarrie, man. He only a victim. Don't blame McQuarrie.
Stop blaming McQuarrie. I'm tired of this fool. Shut up.
Stop
blaming this fool. It makes it worse when this man now saying, before it was, I seen him guiding a young boy into the shower. Now as he's seen skin-on-skin action, that makes it even freaking worse. And I just think it's ridiculous that they're still putting all this on Joe Paul and none of the blame on this guy. That's just...
Bottom line, to me, this situation, it's like Joe Paterno was the biggest name. So they decided, everything went towards Joe Paterno, but this guy, Mark McQuarrie, he actually walked in on this, and the first person he calls, they say, is his father. I think he's getting away way too easy.
6'4", 250 pounds, redhead, couldn't go beat the old man.
Because he's a ginger, that makes a difference. And please,
don't
stereotype the ginger community and put his hair color in this. Go ahead.
Bottom line, he did pretty much, in my opinion, the same thing Joe Paterno did. Joe Paterno, he told the upper people that this is what happened. Same thing Mike McQuarrie did. He told people above him what happened. Well, actually, sorry, he told his father what happened.
I think McQuarrie's worse. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I mean, the free report that they did, where Penn State actually hired an outside detective to go in
and wasted $6 million.
But what he found out, I mean, there were emails. There was a lot of information out there. Joe Paterno knew about this. He knew about what's going on, kept Sandusky actually on the squad.
What the hell does Joe Paterno know about email?
Get out of here, man. Sandusky's homeboy. You ain't gonna know. If me and you are homeboys and you out here messing with kids, I'm gonna know.
Dude,
If I find out we ain't homeboys no more.
He didn't know, but what I'm trying to tell you is stop talking about Joe Pa. This guy was a football player. He was 6'4". He seen a little kid getting abused. Why are we talking about Joe Pa? He should have beat Sandusky's butt. Stop calling your father. You were 22 years old. If I was 22 and I seen that happening, I would have killed that guy and then I would have called the cops. So stop talking about Joe Pa.
Not in all cases, but in this case, the cover-up is almost as bad as the actual crime. Joe Pa knew about what happened. Paterno, he knew about the information and about what was going on. He should have done it, but he kept it in to keep his program from going under. You know, so you got to remember that. In this case, the first person he should have called, Joe Paterno, should have been the police. It should have been 911, even if it's that simple. And he should have went that route. But since he didn't, I mean, he's just as guilty.
Start at the top, then you go down.
Mark McQuarrie walked in on the act. He walked out.
That's it.
Bottom line, Joe Paterno, he told us how. Joe Paterno, who, let's not get it twisted, he is a football coach. Yeah, he's the big guy at Penn State, but bottom line, he's a football coach. And Joe Paterno told his higher-ups about it. It's their responsibility. He's a football coach. Yes, we can make the argument that people should have did a little more, but I don't see Joe Paterno on email talking about covering it up at 70-something years old. If you're going to tell me that Joe Paterno is on the computer or on email, typing, or they found information that Joe Paterno knows, Joe Paterno hasn't known anything the past 15 years at that.
Yeah,
He's just been the face of that school. That's all it is.
I don't think so, man. According to this report, I mean, everything happens with what Joe Paterno says. Joe Paterno is almost like what Roger Goodell is to the NFL. He controls everything that happens, and he controlled keeping that under wraps. He controlled not reporting it.
Listen to me, like I said, y'all talking too much about Joe Pa instead of the guy who was a football player, a starting quarterback that probably benched over 300, 400 pounds.
Folks, I'm tired of talking about Penn State. So now that to try to get away from the whole Sandusky situation, they want to change their uniform. We still know what happened there. So change the uniform,
Well, you gotta
wear a new
understand
uniform,
why they-
change this and that. It doesn't matter.
Let me tell you why they're doing that, though. The reason why they want to put names on the uniforms and do all that, because they need to get recruits to still come there. After the NCAA laid down those penalties on them, they have to do different things to get recruits' interest to come there. So now if I add the name on the back of your jersey, which Joe Pa didn't allow, and if I change my uniforms up, kids like that type of stuff.
Do y'all think it was too soon to tear down the statue?
I think it was. I don't think the statue should have been torn down. Because what does that do? Does that stop the molestation from happening? Does that still prevent any of the things that happen? Taking out that statue or vacating those wins? No, it's all tainted. The NCAA always does that ridiculous stuff.
I think it was the right time. I think with the information that came out in the free report, the fact that he was aware about what was taking place, the fact that he concealed it from certain people, and also, too, the fact that he allowed Sandusky, even with knowing, to retire with still having the credentials to go back to those locker rooms.
Exactly.
And do
and
all
so
that.
you mean more victims happen after he found out?
No, that's not true. That's not true. No, because they banned him from bringing kids. I think they reported that. They banned him from bringing kids onto the campus after that whole incident occurred.
The McQuarrie thing happened way after the first allegations were brought to Joe Paterno's
But let me
attention.
ask you a question though. What happened it wasn't that criminal? Does that have anything to do with the NCAA? Wasn't that just a criminal thing? Did that have anything to do with that statue? That was criminal. Those guys should. Now, if you want to prosecute Joe Paterno for hindering prosecution, go right ahead.
He's dead. You can't prosecute him. He died before the prosecution.
I understand that. But I'm talking about everyone who was that covered up. They should be prosecuted. That had nothing to do with what happened with that statue, those wins.
It does have to do with the NCAA because
no, it doesn't.
Listen, because an assistant coach on the Penn State team was molesting children.
But he did not provide a competitive
If you get a
advantage.
DUI right now and you work for the city, you're embarrassing the city. You're done.
But listen,
they cut you loose.
But what you're talking about is a competitive advantage on the field. That's what I'm saying. That did not provide that.
There was no reason why they should have took the wins against Joe Paterno away. It had nothing to do with giving them an advantage on the field.
Nothing.
Just because even if they so-called were touching little boys
Bobby
in the shower,
That's
They
all
were
Bobby
touching
Bowden.
little boys in the shower. That had nothing. It's not like they were paying athletes to come to their school.
Which
It
that's
had
the-
nothing. You had no reason to take away the wins from Joe Paterno.
And even remove that statue to me. I think it was just it was
The,
too much.
the statue I can understand because there's more of a social interaction and a social.
But there's people out there that just couldn't stand to see that statue even come down. Y'all gotta think about that. Y'all just thinking about everyone who wanted the statue down. But there's millions and millions of people who did not want that statue touched.
The taking down of the statue to me was just a selfish act. They should have did a little more digging to find out a little more truth. What I think it's just all about recruiting. They figure, okay, we take down the statue, we take down everything that has to do with Joe Paterno, and then now we can just try to build back up and make more money for our college. It was a selfish act to me.
Well, also
It was
too,
too soon.
you got to remember the president as well as the athletic director actually still face charges, and they're still gonna go to court as
And
well.
I'm fine with that because they handled prosecution. That's what should happen to them.
Folks, thanks again for tuning in to Spectator Sports. Your boy Ronnie Lott, the Sports Jock. Let me tell you again where to find us at. Check us on Twitter. Check us on Twitter at Spectator Sport, the #1, at Holland Jungle, at FUK Josh, at Ronnie Lott. Check us on Facebook. Always like our Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Spectator Sport. You can check us on YouTube, youtube.com/Spectator Sport. Please look out for that new Muscle Beast present Flex With Me Volume 1. It's killing the streets right now. He's opening up with Travis Porter next month. I'm telling you, it's major. That's the next big thing to come out of South Florida. Y'all expect a lot of big things from the kid Muscle Beats. Shout out to the kid Muscle Beats. Check him on facebook.com/Muscle Beats. Let's switch it up. You know, it's a football show, man. We talk football. It's all about football. Like the talent always say, football is life, son. Football is life
That's what
minus
it
the
is.
sun. Minus the sun. I added the sun.
Yeah,
But let's
yeah.
keep going on. Let's talk about MJD not getting his contract. How do you feel about Jaguars playing hardball with MJD, Toon? Tell me how you feel about that one.
To me, I think MJD needs to just get out there and play ball. The NFL, there's no loyalty when it comes to the NFL. What you need to realize, it's not about what you've done the past couple of years for a team. It's if they give you a contract for 5 or 6 years, you're gonna pass that 30-year-old mark real soon. And to be honest, running backs past the age of 30 don't really produce. So it's not. I think MJD is thinking more of what he did for that team and not for what he can do in the future. And I don't blame Jacksonville for not paying him.
I agree with that, but at the same time, I disagree with it because I think it's just ridiculous that MJD is going to be making $4 million over the next 2 seasons. That's the joke. This man just has
Extreme
over
joke.
1,600 yards. He is your offense. You have nothing on that team next year without MJD if he does not play.
And you gonna pay him $4 million? Are you kidding me? So Blaine should make more than MJD.
Who's the team? Who the fans are coming to see? That's just I can't even wrap my head around.
Justin Blackman should make more than MJD.
They're not even going to negotiate anything with him. His contract is his contract. Like, dude, you're the new one.
I would sit out.
That's not how the NFL works. You need to get this guy. You need to promise him that we're gonna pay you. You need to give him a bonus. You need to give him something to get him into camp because your team right now, they're nothing without him. So it's ridiculous that he's gonna be making $4.5 million over the next 2 seasons. Now, come on, this man is worth what, $8, $9, $10 million
Easy.
that he's worth right now because Forte and Ray Rice just got those same contracts.
And talk about different contracts. I look at Maurice Jones-Drew and I think of Fred Jackson with Buffalo. How same age, 31 or so. And Fred Jackson had a lot of injuries. Fred Jackson has missed a lot of time. Maurice Jones-Drew, a very durable running back. Yeah, he carries a large workload. Yeah, he may lose a step. But at the same time, he is that offense. Last year, led the league in rushing. Last 4 or 5 years, top 5 in all-purpose yardage. I think they want him to walk. I think they want to invest that money in another player, and they just don't want to give him anymore. But does he deserve it? Absolutely.
I think he should walk.
I think they should trade him then. If you don't want to trade him, do something. But if you're gonna pay the guy $4.5 million, no, I'm not coming to camp either.
I think when it comes to these NFL players, man, it's all about that guarantee money. It's not even really necessarily the contract. They just want more guarantee money. And I mean, just give them some guarantee money, but put
That's
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying. Give him something
Incentives
to
and
get him into
stuff.
camp.
but put a lot of incentives in his contract. So if he hits certain marks, he gets more money. But I think a lot of times when it comes to these veterans, man, it's all about that guaranteed money. They could care less about the contract because you could cut them just like that,
Exactly.
and they're done.
I mean, it makes all the sense. That's the reality of the game. If you're in a business where your employer can cut you at any time, so it's in your best interest as a businessman to get as much money as you can in the time frame that you can. Because when the ball switches, you will be cut. Go ahead.
But you think about a situation like MJD, and then you also look at a Revis situation where every time somebody gets paid more than Revis thinks he should get some more money, so he threatens to hold out. Now, what stops a owner like this that says, okay, we're gonna pay you, MJD, we're gonna pay you some more money, and in 2 years he feels like he should get some more because other running backs are getting more. At some point, the owner has to draw the line.
Is he still
Stop.
producing though? Is he
Exactly,
still one of the top rushers in the league? Is he your offense? Do you have nothing without him? Is that that's who the fans come to see? You gotta pay him. You gotta pay. If this guy is basically your franchise, I'm gonna be doing everything in my power to, why are we not renegotiating MJD's contract? Why is this not done? He needs to be taken care of to get him in here, to get fans, because we don't have any more blackouts. This is what's important.
Well, that's a touchy subject anyway, because Jacksonville fans don't come out to see anybody.
Because they don't win. They don't win. The team looks pathetic. He's the only reason why you would come to a Jacksonville game. Who were you going to see last year on Jacksonville's team besides MJD?
I like Josh Scobie, the kicker.
Oh, wow. For real, bro.
You ain't gonna see.
No, but in this case, they
you
deserve
pay $100 to go freaking see
They
him.
deserve, yeah. He deserves
To
the
go
money.
see somebody, Chico.
He deserves the money, yes. Should they pay him? Yes. But are they? The owner already said no.
Too bad there's no loyalty in the NFL.
I think you end up getting paid because the front office people that actually run the team is going to tell us, we have to get him in the cap.
I don't think they're gonna pay him because eventually Jones Drew's gonna have to come back to make some money. You think he's gonna sit out the whole year? I don't think that's gonna happen.
Chris Johnson.
At his age, though,
He
he
sat out
can't
till, like,
afford
week
to
8 or
sit out the
something.
year
Yeah,
like Chris
exactly.
Johnson could at the age of 24,
He's gotta get his
25.
money while he
Jones
can.
Drew can't sit out
But
at
you
age.
got to
a year.
understand is this, though. If he does not show up, the Jaguars probably only winning games
The
this
Jaguars
year.
don't really win games anyway.
No, what I'm saying. But imagine if he doesn't show up. What are they going to do? You're going to depend on a rookie receiver and a battle at quarterback right now.
And he's not even signed either.
And he's not even signed right now either. So
We'd be lucky
It's
to
gonna
see.
be rough.
We'd be lucky to see the Jaguars still in the state of Florida in the next 3 years.
They should
Yeah,
be LA
they should
soon.
move
They
to
going to
LA.
LA soon. So
they
it's
should
all
move to
good.
LA. If you don't have the fan support and the backing in Jacksonville, they should move
The
to
biggest mistake that team ever made, and Talon has said it before in the past, I hate to say this. Folks, it pains me to have to say this. They should have taken Timothy, Rich, and
There you
Tebow.
go.
They
There you
should have
go.
went Tebow.
Would've
At
sold
least
tickets.
they
Yeah,
would have
sold
sold
out.
tickets.
They'd have been sold out.
You can imagine Tebow
least.
with MJD running the ball, Tebow throwing it out.
Hey,
Come on,
that would have been
man.
the top rushing offense in the league,
That
though.
would've been
Did you just say Tebow throwing?
I know. I kind of have a problem with that.
Pittsburgh game, 300 yards passing.
One game.
Hey,
Pick the heck of a
Kansas
time. You
City
picked the heck of a
game,
time
no
to do it. I'll
touchdown.
tell you that.
Hey.
Minnesota Vikings do over 300 yards. Oh, Tebow can't throw the
Matt
ball,
Flynn threw for like 400 yards, 500 yards one game, and he can't even start over Tavares Jackson. So don't tell me
They're
about
battling
one
for
game.
the position.
Russell
thank you very much.
Wilson too. Don't leave him out.
They're battling for that
That'll be
position.
Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn will get the start. They're paying him way too much.
Exactly, and that would be real stupid. Tavares Jackson already proven he can't get it done in the league.
Definitely. T-Jack, I don't know what you're thinking, man. But let's go ahead and go on to the next topic. Spectator Sports, your boy Ronnie Lott, the sports jock. Let me tell you what, go check that mixtape, datpiff.com/muscle beats, man. I'm telling you, it's fire. All y'all dudes out in LA, out in Cincy, out in Ohio, y'all want to hear something else? You tired of the oversaturation that the radio stations are giving you? Check them out, man. Get ready for that new Chiclayano and Tones. Let's go ahead and continue on our fantasy segment. We always got to talk fantasy. Fantasy season coming up real soon. We got a few of the fantasy ballers. Everybody here is in a few different fantasy leagues. We actually all in one league also. So, it's a lot of fantasy stuff going on. So, let's go ahead and talk about ESPN recently releasing their top 300 fantasy picks. Let's see if we agree with what their picks was. Let's go ahead and get into that a little bit. Now, Aaron Rodgers was the first quarterback off the board. I guess he was the number 4. First pick was
Arian Foster.
Arian Foster.
Rice, number 2.
Ray Rice, number 2. How you guys feel about the Ray Rice versus
LaShawn
McCoy battle? You can go into that one and start.
It's to me, it's pretty even, and you know what? You can almost, me personally, I can almost make an argument for them competing against Arian Foster for the first overall pick, because the way I look at it, Arian Foster, yeah, he's still gonna get his touches regardless if Ben Tate's there. But when you look at Ray Rice and you look at LaShawn McCoy, there's nobody to take carries from them. So you can make an argument that they can also be the number 1 pick in fantasy.
Mm-hmm. And as far as like Ray Rice goes, I mean, yes, he gets his catches out the backfield as well, and he's in a very, very organized and potent offense. But you know, as far as yardage goes, you know, touchdowns, he's a touchdown guy, and you know, but he's also a very hard runner. You know, whereas McCoy, he's more of a finesse runner. He can throw some power in there. But I agree. I like McCoy over Ray Rice. But I mean, Arian Foster, I still think is your number 1 pick, fantasy-wise this year. If you have that shot at number 1, you know, Arian Foster is your way to go.
Speaking of a few guys with the number 1 overall pick, Arian Foster's your guy, man. Go ahead. What you feel about that?
Man, I'm real torn because you got a situation with Arian Foster, and I'm all for running backs that don't have to share carries with anyone. But when you look at Arian Foster, you look at strength of schedule, and you know they got a real easy schedule. They play a couple tough games, but compared to Baltimore's tested every year, and the Eagles are tested also in that division real strong. Arian Foster doesn't see the strong defenses that these other 2 guys have. But when you look at a person, I wouldn't be crazy for taking Aaron Rodgers first, because regardless the past 2 years, he's been the number 1 scoring guy.
I think that's the only thing that should matter. That's my biggest issue with fantasy football, when people get into it where, you know, you gotta go running back, you gotta go this. If you got the first pick, you gotta go with the guy you think is gonna have the most points at the end of the year. If it's a quarterback, if it's a tight end, if it's a receiver, that's who you choose. You gotta go with what you think is the best overall. Go ahead.
Okay, well, let me just go ahead and say this. You will be crazy if you take Aaron Rodgers over Arian Foster or LaShawn McCoy. I can see you going Aaron Rodgers over Ray Rice, but LaShawn McCoy and Arian Foster, no, you don't do that. I understand.
Who had more points last year?
I understand
Who
that.
had more points?
I understand Aaron Rodgers does do numbers,
points.
but at the end of the day, those 2 guys, they're going to do numbers regardless. Arian Foster and LaShawn McCoy, they're going to get their touches no matter how they're going to get out the backfield, screens, running it. They can break at any time. Now, Rodgers, you got to think about, all teams are going to start catching up with that Packers offense. So defense is going to be geared to slow that down. I don't think he's going to have this big explosion year that people think Aaron Rodgers is going to have this year. Trust me. So if you're going to talk about drafting Rodgers over McCoy and Foster, you're crazy. I wouldn't do it, especially after the season they're coming off of last year.
I mean, I guess I understand it. I understand where you're coming from. He had the most fantasy points last year, and the difference between him and second place is how many points was it? Like 40, 50, 60 points, something like that.
The point difference between him and the number 1 running back was about 100 points.
See,
So why would I go running back over this guy? It makes no sense to me.
Because
It's
you
not
got to think
about
about you're
points.
gearing up
That's
for
why
the
you
new
didn't win
season,
last
fool.
year. That's
You're
why
talking
you
about-
didn't
No,
win
I
last
didn't win
year.
last year because
Folks,
of injuries.
if you wanna
Listen,
win,
first
talk
of all,
to a winner.
I would have beat this fool last
Talk to
year
a winner.
if I had too many injuries on my team, or I would have smoked this fool.
Go
But
ahead,
like I
Aaron.
said,
What you had to say? Would you?
If was a fifth.
Exactly.
but it's the truth though. I had injuries. Andre was out. I had people that was going off my team.
Let's continue down the list. We don't want to know about this fool's fantasy blunders and his team not being
Ain't no
able to
blunders.
get
I
it
was
done.
there at the end. I just couldn't get it done because I know it.
Okay, so you have a MJD that's threatening the whole lot at the number 5. I don't like that. Then you got Tom Brady at 6. How you feel about Brady at 6?
Tom, I mean, we've had this conversation before. I feel like Tom Brady could be a top 5 fantasy pick. You know, there's people who will say, you know, well, you can wait and probably catch him later on in the first round. But if you want to build your team around, if you're going to build your team around a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you could build your team around Tom Brady, especially where if you can pick up one of his receivers in the later round as well to get some.
Let me tell you why I don't go Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers that high. Because I have all these other quarterbacks, Matt Stafford, Drew Brees, we got Peyton Manning, we got Michael Vick, we got Cam Newton, we got Eli Manning. All these players can put those numbers up with no problem. They can give you 20, 30 points, 40 points at any time. So drafting these guys that high is a waste of a pick at the end of the day.
To me, honestly, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, they separate themselves from the rest just because of the amount of yards they throw for. But call me crazy, I take Cam Newton over Tom Brady.
I like Killer Cam a lot myself.
I mean, with the drive around the pass, yes, I can understand that.
Cam was a problem last year. That run-pass threat was unbelievable.
But you have to understand, you can have a person like Tom Brady. Say Tom Brady throws for 4,000 yards. No, 4,500 yards. And let's say he throws for 40 touchdowns, all right? So you get somebody like Cam Newton who comes in and throws for 3,000 yards. But he's going to get you 600, 700 rushing yards. He's going to get you probably 17 or so passing touchdowns and at least 10 to 15 rushing. So now he's in a situation where he's putting up the same numbers as Tom Brady, but it also he gives you some relax on your running backs because he's giving you 700 rushing yards that year. Where your number 2 running back, you're lucky to get 800 yards out of your number 2 running back unless you just have people in your league who can't draft and they allow one of these top number 1 running backs to fall to you at number 2 for your second running back. But if you look at it that way, Cam Newton gives you rushing yards of a number 2 running back, but also gives you passing yards of a number 1 quarterback.
And Cam threw for 4,000 yards last year. So once again, I say, this is why I say I don't take Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady that high because I have quarterbacks in the later round that's going to be able to get me those points.
So none of you believe in a sophomore slump then?
Not when it comes to
I
Cam.
definitely think
Now we
it's possible.
can.
I think
Now
it's
we
definitely
can.
possible.
Because you know why? Let me tell you why now we
think
can.
the league
Because
is gonna tailor to his
everybody in the
style.
league said Cam's not going to do this. He can't run this. He can't throw this. And the man broke Peyton Manning's rookie passing record, threw for 21 touchdowns and ran for 14. I don't see him having a slump.
And I think
he gets a full off season. I don't see a slump.
They brought in a couple more weapons for him. It might not
they
be
just traded
major
for Louis
weapons,
Murphy.
but they brought in some.
Louis
I like
Murphy
Louis
before
Murphy.
he was hurt. He
I like
produced
Louis
over
Murphy.
in Oakland.
They brought in some weapons for him. What you got to realize, Cam Newton started off hot. He finished a little cold. But still, you bring in weapons around him. They need to get that run game going a little bit. That keeps
More.
him going. And he doesn't go under the sophomore slump. Last year, a lot of quarterbacks you saw fall under that, but they had that lockout. So they didn't get to really get in there and get into practicing with their teammates. I don't see a sophomore slump. He's too much of a physical specimen to run into a sophomore slump.
What I'll say is this, like I said, I think it's definitely a possibility. I'll say as the season went on, I think teams geared up and learned.
They started
and
figuring
teams
him out,
built up
yeah.
and figured what he was good at and what he wasn't
What
too
he
well
struggled
at.
at,
So
yeah.
these defensive coordinators, these guys definitely know what they're doing. These guys definitely know what they're doing in terms of that being. Go ahead.
I just got a question. If you have to pick one guy, and I'm not talking about a guy that's going to be selected in the first or second round. I'm talking about one guy out there that you would consider a sleeper pick this year. And I'm talking sleeper pick to me is past the 5th round. Just one guy who's just going to come out of nowhere, like a Victor Cruz, somebody like that, where he might not even get drafted, or he's going to get drafted late. Who would you say is your sleeper pick?
Well, this year there's a lot of them, but I think sleeper pick wise, I like David Martin with the New York Giants. You know, with Ahmad Bradshaw. You know, now that Brandon Jacobs is with San Francisco, you know, I think like he'll be able to get a lot of early down work because I really think they want to use Ahmad Bradshaw more so as a 3rd round back. You know, so I really like the rookie they drafted with the Giants. I think you could probably wait and get him 6th or 7th round or so and get good value for him.
I'll go Trent Richardson.
Well, he's the first round. He's not really a sleeper.
He's a first round, but he's a rookie.
He is not who drafted? Who is going to draft
He
Trent
probably
Richardson in the
goes.
first round?
He probably 2nd or 3rd round.
Second or third?
I
Are
know-
you crazy?
I
You
know
don't
some-
draft a rookie that high.
I know some guys in the league that are looking to draft Trent Richardson in the first round.
No, that is a big mistake, and I'm gonna call him a sleeper because he's a rookie. And I made that mistake with C.J. Spiller 2 years ago, thinking that he was gonna produce after what he did in college. And what happened? He came in and he just didn't do anything. So, but I picked Trent Richardson because that Alabama offense is an NFL offense, and he can pound between them tackles, and he can get outside because he runs a dang 4.34.
But Mark Ingram was a first-round draft pick last year.
But Mark Ingram's not a physical specimen like Trent Richardson, though. That's the difference.
I mean, that Alabama offense, though, you know.
I'll say this, my sleeper pick, this guy's been my sleeper for a few years, and I always like this guy. He's one of my favorite backs. I got to go with Beanie Wells. I think it's probably the year that Beanie finally, I mean, he had like 1,200 yards. I think if he can stay healthy, Beanie Wells is a 1,400
Is
yard
he gonna
back.
stay? Is he gonna stay on the field and not be injured this year?
Yeah, I mean, if he can stay healthy, I like Beanie to have a big year, double-digit touchdowns. I think he can be a real factor. I think his running style and his vision is definitely top
He's
guy.
got that young guy Ryan Williams on his heels, man. He's got that young
Well,
guy on his heels.
competition brings out the best in people. Hopefully it does with Beanie. But like I said, it's a sleeper. That's why he's a sleeper, because you're not really he has an opportunity to maybe become that, but going in, that's not what it's projected to initially.
Another one you got to look out for because of the injury to Rashard Mendenhall. You got to look at Isaac Redmond. Isaac Redmond, running back with Pittsburgh. In that offense with Ben Roethlisberger and with Mike Wallace, once he gets over his little contract issue that's going on, and Antonio Brown with that team and that setup, he could be a bruising back. He could catch out the backfield. He can definitely be a good number 2 running back or even a good flex position player.
I'm gonna go with two people, and it's at the receiver position. Receivers come up all the time, and they actually relate to each other because one made room for the other. I'm gonna go with Robert Meacham from San Diego, and I'm also gonna go with Lance Moore from New Orleans. You look at Lance Moore, you can make the argument that Lance Moore is Drew Brees' favorite receiver. You look at that offense, except for last year because Jimmy Graham kind of came into play, but Lance Moore has always been one of Drew Brees' favorite receivers, and now you got Meacham who shifts off to San Diego. And that opens up Lance Moore for possibly that number 2 receiver position on the opposite side of Colston.
I think that hurts him. I think if they don't keep him in the slot and there's more teams start to focus on Lance Moore because they're hurting him, I don't think he can beat a coverage when it's not a linebacker or a 4th down nickel back. Or I think if he goes out to that number 2, he will struggle. I think if you're right, if he stays in that slot, yeah, he can stay Drew Brees' target.
There just in terms of matchup wise. But another sleeper guy that I look forward to have a fairly decent year. If AP is not fully healthy, I like Toby Gerhart.
Yeah, I was thinking about him
Toby
too.
Gerhart, when he plays, he's a 100-yard back. And he's an aggressive, physical back, and he can catch out the backfield, good vision. I mean, I like to stay away from the white running backs, but I mean, he's the great white
how
running back.
racist was that, sir?
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm from Greece.
You look at those last couple games with Toby Gerhart when he stepped in, man. They were giving him 20 to 30 touches a game, man, and he was producing. He was producing.
And I don't think AP should come back until week 8 anyway. So I think Toby would be. Hey, it's a trade. He shouldn't be playing
no
right
reason
now.
to rush
yeah,
him.
He didn't no reason to rush that.
Gerhardt's ability.
That's
Go
a
ahead,
$100 million guy.
And another one you look at, I mean, you talk about injuries, Javid Best. Javid Best, if he's on the field, he's almost a must start every week in that potent offense.
I got one more guy, and he's coming off ACL, Kenny Britt. He was balling out of control before he got hurt. So if he could come back.
Everybody can attest to this who's in my league. I have a soft spot for Kenny Britt. But, with these arrests, and then the man's had like 2 other knee procedures done in the offseason. And I don't think he's going to be able to bounce back.
I think when players get arrested, they play better.
Yeah, but you
that's the truth to me, because sometimes they just get it just like all that stuff off the field. When they get on the field, I think they don't even think about that stuff.
But in this case with Kenny Britt though, he's looking at a couple games because this is not his first time getting in trouble.
He will be facing suspension when he comes back, most likely.
So what good is Kenny Britt?
And also when you go back to the Kevin Smith, when we mentioned Kevin Smith. No, not Kevin Smith, sorry. When we mentioned Javid Best.
Yeah.
When you talk about Javid Best hasn't even been cleared to touch the field yet. No. Now this is 8 to 9 months after his concussion. For you to be not cleared yet 8 to 9 months after a concussion, it's hard for me to
he
touch.
He might not even be playing.
I got another just looking at this top 300. one that's a bit interesting to me. You got Rob Gronkowski, the tight end for New England Patriots.
Monster.
Gronk Nation at 14, which I
Monster.
have no problem with because I think Gronk is first round
Monster.
because of the numbers. Numbers is the only thing that
Not
matters.
first round.
But listen,
I have a problem with Gronk.
Wait till that's not my argument whether or not Gronk. Okay, he's at 14, great. But you got Aaron Hernandez at number 93. Wow. How does Gronk get to 14 and Hernandez is at 93? Sure, Gronk could give you what? 1,200 yards, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns. Hernandez is going to give you 1,200 yards, 1,100 yards, and 8 to 9 touchdowns. So is the divide between those two that much where Gronk should be number 14 overall on your top 300 and Hernandez damn near almost misses the top 100?
Because you overstated his numbers, Aaron Hernandez number. He probably give you 600-700 yards and probably 5 or 6 touchdowns. That's why he's at 93.
And also, I think the reason why he's rated that way is also more so because of the other tight ends. You have Jermichael Finley out there. You have Vernon Davis out there. You have
Jimmy
Antonio
Graham.
Gates.
You got a lot of tight ends out there.
Exactly. You have other tight ends who are ranked a little bit higher than a guy who's the second tight end behind a possible, not guaranteed, but a possible first-round pick in Rob Gronkowski.
What the hell is Belichick's obsession with tight ends anyway? He
Exactly.
just signed Shenko, too.
Yeah, he
Listen,
signed this thing.
Aaron Hernandez was taking handoffs for New England. So, I mean,
No,
you
he's
got
a playmaker.
backs. You got this dude, like, you're literally...
He is a playmaker.
You literally use him as a playmaker in your offense. He's one of the important cogs. You're not only throwing it to... Even when you got Gronk doing his thing, Hernandez was definitely an important part of the offense.
What you need to understand, though, the difference between Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. Gronkowski lined up probably the majority of the times on the line. Aaron Hernandez, 75% of the time, he's lined up at receiver.
He's a
So
receiver.
it's a big difference, you know. It's I think the whole thing is to open it up for Gronkowski. Bottom line, it's just to open it up for Gronkowski.
And the inconsistency in numbers, because you got to think about Wes Welker and the other guys on offense. It's not that many balls to go around. It's only one ball, and Hernandez will probably get about 600-700 yards. That's why he's at number 93.
Folks, it's Spectator Sports, your boy Ronnie Lott, the sports job. Thanks again for tuning in. Like I said, you know where to find us. Check us on YouTube, youtube.com/FUKJosh420 /Spectator Sport, the number 1. That's where to find us on YouTube. You can check us at Twitter, at Spectator Sport, the number 1, at FUKJosh, at Holland Jungle, at Nano Chang 89. Props to the kid, Nano Chang. I'm telling you, man, this kid here is going to take over the Latin game. This kid is like Big Pun, Fat Joe. All these guys roll into one with a little bit of Ross thrown in there. He's a big Pun, Fat Joe, rolled up with a little bit of Ross, splashing with a touch of Tupac.
You
in
named every
Spanish.
fat rapper in the history.
Every fat rapper in Tupac all rolled into one. That's how nice this kid is. But I'm expecting major things from him. You got the new Chiclayano and Tones project coming out. Look out for that. Like I say, Spectator Sport. Let's go ahead and go into probably one of the best segments of this show. This is what a lot of people tune in for. Let's go ahead and give you our You a Fool. I know we haven't been doing it the last few weeks. It's a lot of foolish things out there. I've been seeing a lot of fools out here doing a lot of dumb. So I ain't gonna say the word. Let me go ahead and give you my You a Fool. I gotta go with the Malaysian shooter for being 8 months pregnant and being on the being competing in the Olympics. Makes no sense. If I was the baby daddy, I wonder how the baby daddy feels about it. If I was the baby daddy, I would have had to press charges. I don't know what I would have did unless she bring the money home to me. And I don't know, man. I just feel that she's a fool. So that's my You a Fool. You got a You a Fool, Tyler?
My You a Fool is the freaking losers in Chicago and Boston who's not getting Chick-fil-A those permits because they made those dang comments about the sanctity of marriage. I think it's just ridiculous. All you people are so foolish for not wanting people to say what they believe. This is what this man believes, and you losers need to grant the man the permits. He don't care because he closes down Chick-fil-A on Sunday, like I stated. But I think it's just foolish for someone not to be able to get a permit to open up a restaurant because he made some comments. It's ridiculous.
Double A, you got one?
Yeah, Dwight Howard.
Woo!
You are a fool. You're running your mouth. You're talking yourself out of cities. You're going to end up losing a lot of money because you just can't keep your mouth shut. You need to tell your representatives to do a much better job for you because they are slowly costing you a lot of money, and you're losing your fan base. The little fan base you still have right now, you're losing them. So Dwight Howard, you are a fool.
I'm gonna go with Rex Ryan as being the you a fool, Rex Ryan. First of all, you making comments about your backup quarterback playing punt returning and punt on the punt team, and you're trying to scare other people to be worried about hitting Tim Tebow because he might hit you back. Bottom line, the guy's been playing quarterback his whole career, and for you to say that you're gonna put your backup quarterback on the punt team
that is
and on the
foolish.
punt, you're a fool for that, Rex. Rex Ryan, people are tired of hearing about you brag about certain players on your team and what they're gonna do. Bottom line, man, you on the hot seat. You need to win now. You a fool for that.
Let me ask you this. Really, I feel Rex Ryan, Rex Ryan with that loud, braggadocious type style, you kind of wear out your welcome. And if you're not winning cures everything. But after a while of getting close, people want that feeling. Especially when you got Eli. This Mr. I hate Eli Manning because he can't win a fantasy football championship.
That loser cost me money because I should have beat you if he didn't freaking go. What, he had negative 2 points. He lost me that game.
I remember that.
Folks,
he lost me money.
This idiot hates Eli Manning through the 2 championships that Rex Ryan wish he had because he lost.
I still, AKA, I hate Eli Manning.
Tyler, you a fool for betting with Eli.
Folks,
I am a fool for that.
Folks, that's the show. We out of here. Spectator Sport, Talents of Food.
Rừng của Hà Lan.